Welcome everybody to the Par Media podcast. I'm joined by my co-hosts here, Alex Thompson and Paul Croft. Say hi, guys.
Hi, guys.
And I'm your host today, Mr. Benjamin Kernock. Today we're going to be talking about just movies that came out last year, the 2022 movies, the 5 best that we watched, our 5 worst, some underrated ones, some overrated ones, and the movies that we're going to be looking forward to next year. So, guys, let's start. What movies did we see last year? Let's talk.
Bloody hell, mate.
I saw 60 movies in total last year.
I got 52. And
I was the lowest. I got about, I want to say like 43. I was lacking a bit.
Yeah, man.
I mean, 43 is nothing to, like, you know.
Yeah, no, I will say, like, I was proud of my list. Like, I watched some damn good movies this year, but I definitely could have watched a lot more, you know?
So, yeah, I think we all got, like, a decent amount. We all managed to go, like, most times. Like, we all at least went once a week, I think.
So, what movies did you guys see? Let's talk about it.
All right. So, who wants to start with their top 5 then?
After you, Mr. Paul Croft.
Oh, you want me to go first?
Yeah, sure.
So, I've got my list.
Ooh, he's prepared a list.
Ooh.
Ooh.
You got fairies.
Friggin' sweet.
That's awesome.
So, I'll start with number 5. It was Bullet Train. It's a very, very good movie. Got Brad Pitt in it, and I love Brad Pitt.
I'll say something about Bullet Train. I've knocked it low a bit.
Oh, yeah?
Because I'll talk about the Banshees of Inisherin later, but I've kind of knocked Bullet Train down a bit more because I've like appreciated the Banshees.
It's not that Bullet Train's bad.
No, I love Bullet Train. It was my 3rd best movie for a long, long time, but it's more like 4th or 5th now.
Alright.
I can't believe it's that high up for you guys.
Really?
It's not that good.
It's great.
It's good. Not that good.
It's just a fun time.
Yeah, I get that, but like top 3.
It was very fun for me. It was.
Well, the thing is, I couldn't really think of any other film that could kind of fit the well, I can now, but I couldn't really think of any other movie that I've had the most fun with this year.
That's fair.
Other than the other 2 that were Everything Everywhere All at Once and Nope. So Bullet Train was just kind of a given for me to be at the top 3.
I had, I think it's called The Dog for like, in my top 10 for the most of the year because until like the latter half of the year, honestly, it was kind of mid with films. But okay, number 4 was Glass Onion, which only came out like a couple of weeks ago.
I wasn't a huge fan of it. I thought it was pretty great. I've like learned to appreciate it a lot more since I've watched it. Like I've seen a few TikToks talking about like, you know, the scene where Graham Norton's character's talking about like what are they called?
You mean Ed Norton?
Is his name Edward Norton?
Graham Norton's the British TV presenter.
Oh my god, I've been mixing them up this entire time. Shit.
Okay, by the way, spoilers though.
Oh yeah. Well, there's a scene. Spoilers if you haven't seen Glass Onion already, but there's a scene where Edward Norton's talking about his group. What do they call it? The Disruptors. He's talking about like all of that, and his entire monologue is just like the exact events that happen. Like it starts off small, and you do something that everybody kind of wants you to do, and then they get involved into it, and that kind of explains like the final scene where like, you know, what's her name, the main character.
Good question.
But she's not the main character, but the one who's associated with Daniel Craig's character.
Andy.
Andy, yeah.
Her sister's called Andy. Her name's Helen.
Yeah, so it's her. She like smashes all of like the glass like ornaments that are scattered around the room. She's talking about that, and that's what Edward Norton's talking about when he's saying you start off small, you start breaking stuff, and then everybody starts doing it. And I thought that was a really nice little detail. I really like it when movies do that, like with Shaun of the Dead, for example. Like they do that. And Glass Onion does that, and it made me appreciate it a lot more. So I kind of bumped up my review of it a little bit.
I just love that film.
It wasn't as good as the first one.
No, Knives Out is significantly better.
Like the original is just amazing.
I love both of them, but I will say Knives Out is better. I love Chris Evans as Ransom.
Yeah.
He's my favourite part of that film.
Yeah.
So number 3 was The Menu.
Yeah.
I think is
The Menu is just goated. Like there's nothing to hate about that movie. It's not as high up on my list as I wanted it to be, obviously because I've got a few more other like movies that are just as good. but the menu's just fun.
Well, it's not even that. There's a lot to dive into. Like
Yeah.
something like Bullet Train, it's not as deep, but it's still really fun. The menu is really deep, and it's got a lot to dive into. Like something like the cheeseburger at the end
Yeah.
seems really fun on the surface level, but it's also got a lot to it.
Yeah, because it talks about like it's a massive take on like foodie culture and just like upper class people just trying to get the best out of like their, their affluent like nature, and they go to this massive islands. They have a nice meal, but they realize that it's not what they like signed up for. Well, obviously, because they all
I
fucking
think we
die.
should give a warning in general for everything we talk about.
Yeah, every single movie spoilers for this, by the way, but like it was kind of a given from the trailer that like it was going to be like a, oh no, they're all going to start dying sort of thing. But I think with the menu, there's a lot of like hidden messages in it, and there's a lot of like connotations to like foodie culture, like I said, and like upper class stuff. Plus, Ray Fiennes is just amazing.
He's always so good. His
He's
accent's
so
a
great.
bit weird in the film. That's the only thing I can say. Is his accent is a bit strange.
It is, yeah, because I'm not used to. I'm always used to his really smooth and British accent, like in the Grand Budapest Hotel. One of my favorite
James
movies
Bond.
ever. That
Such a good movie.
it's
I
so
love Grand
amazing.
Budapest.
It makes the soundtrack makes me cry, man.
Yeah.
But like that's one of my favorite movies ever, and he's
With the menu though,
fantastic
it was
in
actually really funny at times.
Oh yeah.
It's hilarious.
Because he's just like, had one day off out of like 4 years, and I didn't like your movie,
Yeah.
so I'm gonna kill you.
Yeah, John Leguizamo's character is probably my favorite.
And that was I saw a podcast about that. I think it was do you guys watch Dead Meat? I know you do, Alec.
I like Dead Meat.
Is that the kill count guy?
Yeah.
They
James.
did a segment on the Dead Meat podcast about the menu, and they were talking about that whole segment was actually kind of like a meta commentary on one of the producers who like produced a film and they didn't actually like it. I don't know how like true that fact is. I might be like mixing up a bit, but I think that's just really like clever how they've kind of interpreted that and like just like made it funny from like a bad experience.
Yeah. So number 2 was Barbarian.
Yeah. Barbarian was awesome.
The only criticism I have of that is the one scene with the guy in the 60s going to get like supplies.
Yeah, I remember we talking about that. It definitely should have been like a cold open for the movie, because it doesn't really explain anything.
It seems like a bit of a weird flashback in the middle of the movie.
Yeah,
The teaser at the start of the movie, it makes a lot more sense.
yeah,
And it would kind of set up that the audience is like, okay, how does this random old man tie into the current timeline, and then eventually you'll find out.
yeah,
Whereas it just feels a bit tacked on putting it in the middle. But I still love the film other than that.
yeah. It's fantastic. I like how it's basically just 3 different genres in one film. Like it goes from like sort of like a romance kind of like comedy thing where Bill Skarsgård and I can't remember the actress's name, but they're both in just like this B&B together, and they're kind of apprehensive of each other at first because they're strangers, obviously. But then they get closer and closer and they get more friendly. And you think from the trailer, it misleads you so much because you think that Bill Skarsgård's going to be the main like antagonist of this film. But no, it just completely flips that on the table. And then it cuts to Justin Long's character all the way in like LA. He's like what is he? He's an actor?
He works in film. And
Yeah, he's like a comedian sort of actor guy. He like a bit of controversy sparks, and he goes to Detroit. He stays in the exact same
Yeah,
B&B.
shit in Detroit, man.
You can't have shit in Detroit. He stays in this B&B, and like there's still the comedy aspect because it's Justin Long. Like all of his movies are really funny. Tusk. Tusk. And then it just turns into a flat-out horror. I think another criticism for me for that movie would be that it kind of just ends. Like, the payoff doesn't really seem earned, because it just kind of ends like the creature's out in the open. All of the people in Detroit are just like, yeah, we're trying to survive this creature. It never really comes out, but we're always ready for it. And then it just dies.
Yeah.
And you're just left like, oh, okay. But overall, I thought it was a pretty sick film.
I mean, it just left me feeling disgusted and horrified, but also I just adored it, and the disgust and horror I felt from it were intentional, and I'm glad that a film can make me feel that, because there's not many that can do that.
Yeah.
And I love it when they can create a genuine reaction of disgust from me.
There definitely hasn't been a film in a long while that's made me like grossed out as much. Like especially the scene where Justin Long Justin Long's character, he gets like his head squished, and you can see like this like mushy stuff.
No, it's not even that. It's when he's forcefully breastfed.
All that, yeah. Wish that was me.
I haven't seen the film.
Have you not?
I haven't. No.
It's on Disney Plus.
Oh
now.
yeah, I've seen it on Disney Plus, and I've been meaning to watch it.
It's a really really good
Spoiler
film.
alert.
Oh poop! We just spoiled.
I don't care.
Oh, poop.
Oh poop!
I'm still gonna enjoy it. I love seeing like gore.
So, my number one film, which I'm sure might be your guys' as well, or at least in the top 5, is Nope.
Nope was second for me.
Mm.
Everything
Nope.
Everywhere All at Once was my first.
Spoiler, Ben. It's meant to be for your segment then.
Sorry.
No, but Nope is just, for me, there is no topping Nope.
No.
Nope is just amazing. The more I think about it, Nope is just such a riveting film. Like all of Jordan Peele's films are like,
He does not miss. He has not made a single bad film yet.
no.
He's great at comedy and he's great at horror.
I mean, you could kind of count Candyman as a Jordan Peele film, but he's more of a
I guess,
producer.
but that's not really fair.
It's still got like the kind of like style of a Jordan Peele film, but it's not directed by him.
I swear Candyman did pretty well though.
It did, yeah.
Yeah, so the GOAT doesn't miss. He's probably one of my favorite directors.
I don't hear much discourse about Candyman though, so...
The original is much better than the reboot, but
Oh.
yeah. But anyway, Nope, I think is such like an influential film. It's like we said, Jordan Peele does not miss at all. Like Us and Get Out are stellar films. I think that Us is a little bit better than Nope.
Well, having not seen Us or Get Out yet, because I've still
Really?
not gotten around to it, where you went,
Really?
whoa. But still having not seen it yet, I can still say, coming into Jordan Peele with basically a fresh mind, and I'm not having known his directing work before, it's still just, it's on a level above everything else this year. It's so unique and creative, and
There's a lot of references to pop culture in it as well. Like the Akira slide. Can't go wrong. That's my favorite like Easter egg in any film.
well, you've got like the main alien, they call him Jean Jacket, right?
Yeah.
The floaty fucking dude.
Yeah.
That's the most like unique part of horror.
Yeah, because the way the way the trailer, like I'm talking about trailers a lot in this podcast, but the trailer makes you seem that it's like it does not get you, like make you ready for anything that happens in the actual film, because it makes you think that it's just like a bog standard like alien invasion sort of thing, and like the only like bring for me was that it was directed by Jordan Peele, so I knew that it was going to be like sort of special.
The only sort of standard horror bit is the Gordy's home,
Yeah.
which
That
is
was
fucked up. I love everything about
When
that.
the monkey like looks straight at the camera,
Can you imagine watching that in like 3D or 4DX, whatever? Like,
I would
I
be
would've
out
shat
of my
my
seat.
shit.
Do you know how they filmed that, by the way? Like they got an actual dude in a monkey suit, and then they like CGI'd his face. But they built like the set. It was like 1.5 times the scale, so everything was slightly bigger, so that the chimpanzee would look like a chimpanzee in terms of its like physicality, so that it wouldn't look too CGI when they do it. They just have the face be the CGI.
Yeah, because I could definitely like tell that it was somewhat CGI, but like for the most part, it looked really real.
Like the physicality looked great.
Yeah.
It was just the face that looked CGI, but that's because they used a physical human being to film it.
But I said in my letterbox review for Nope that it, like I said, it surprised the hell out of me, because I initially thought that it was going to be like sort of like The Thing mixed with Invasions of the Body Snatchers, where it's just like, you know, like this being can like take control of people, and like assume their personality and like their appearance and stuff. Like the most hinted towards, like, you know, the scene where like the woman, like her like weird cloak thing like gets like blown up by the wind, and you can see like quite a messed up face.
that's an actual like actress who got like attacked by
Yeah,
a chimp though.
I thought that was going to be like the alien, but no, they talked about like the backstory and like it like related to like Gordon, and like Stephen Yeun's character, he survived that whole like incident, and his character kind of like builds up to think, oh, nothing bad happens to me, I'm special, I can do literally whatever I want for the sake of like miracles and profit, and just not be affected by it. And then it just, all of that gets like contradicted when the alien just comes down and goops him up. And I will say that fucking scene
That was fucked.
where like they're all getting suffocated inside the alien, like kids and all. Shivers.
A little bit of trivia, I guess, on that. When they were filming it, they did a couple different takes with the screams. One was, okay, let's get everyone to scream as if they're on a roller coaster and they're having fun, and then they get everyone to scream in horror, and they mix them together.
Oh, that's really cool.
I'm not sure exactly what they were going for with the because the whole film is about spectacle. I think that might be something they were aiming for.
Yeah.
With the whole screaming of joy like on a roller coaster, and mix it with the horror, I guess. I'm not exactly sure why they did it, but I think it's a really interesting thing.
Well, yeah, Jordan Peele always has these like really interesting messages about like social commentary or just like random things in general. Like with Get Out, it was about racism and like upper class people taking advantage. Us, it was about like fighting yourself, obviously, and like coming to terms with your past. That's what I interpreted from it. And Nope is really special because it doesn't have just one message, it has multiple, and the main one is just always just be like real and like not have to give into spectacle for the sake of like profit and stuff.
It's ironic because it's very anti-spectacle, but it's a massive big budget movie.
Yeah, it's absolutely incredible. It's very, very great. Yeah, so we're going to run a little ad break right now. We'll be back talking about Alex's 5 best, and then we'll talk about my 5 best. Please enjoy this trailer for Santa Gets Sued.
Court is in session. Mr. Claus, since you've chosen to be your own attorney, you may now start with your opening statement.
Your Honour, I think we can all agree that Christmas is the most wonderful time of the year. But why do you think that is? Because of what we do for you. Do you know how hard it is to get to 7.6 billion homes in just one night? Oh no! Me and my elves work so hard to get that done.
Your Honour, Mr. Claus here is not the joyful boss he claims to be. His treatment and working conditions for the elves is not just illegal, it is downright immoral.
Yes, please? Doesn't that kind of dress as Santa downstairs?
We're already behind schedule for next year. Please, this is my life's work we're talking about. You've got to let me go. I'm innocent. I'm a good person. Ask anybody.
Do you have any witnesses?
Why, yes, I do. Donald!
And we are back. I'm sure, hope you enjoyed that trailer. Sorry that Thanos was in it. So where were we last time we...
Now you've got to include Thanos in that. Anyway.
We have
have
to
to.
include
You have
Thanos
to
in that.
commit to
Yeah,
that joke.
preface, I haven't actually edited that yet, so I don't know if Thanos is actually going to be in it or not, but I feel obligated to add Thanos to it now.
Add Thanos now.
I will. Here's a Thanos.
Okay, guys.
Where were we?
So we're doing Alex's top.
Yeah, so Alex's top
Yay.
5. Let's go. Because I think your top one was Nope as well, wasn't it?
My number one was Nope. So I'm probably not going to talk about that one.
Yeah, that's fine.
You have got some interesting others though.
Mine's quite different, I think.
You have the Bowie film on there somewhere, don't you?
Well, if you've got everything everywhere on there, leave that for Ben. Ben cares.
I'll talk about that. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't really have many thoughts on that. I haven't seen it in ages. As much as a good film it is, I haven't seen it in ages. So I should probably start
Start with number 5.
5. Right, that was what's the name of it? The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent.
That's a film I haven't actually
That
seen.
is such a fucking good. film.
I'll admit,
It's on Amazon Prime, man.
I haven't really... Is it? Oh,
Yeah.
sweet. Okay. I'm not a huge fan of Nicolas Cage. Not that I like don't like him or anything. I just haven't really seen much of his movies.
Me neither.
I feel like I wasn't really obligated to like see that film because I wouldn't like really get it.
See, I haven't seen many of his films, like, really, but I thought the whole point of from the trailer, it was so stupid to me that, like, I have to go and watch that. I have to go watch Nicolas Cage in a film about Nicolas Cage and how cool he is.
Yeah.
Like, you cannot not watch that.
I feel like if I were to like think that way, I'll be like, oh, this is just a goofy movie about Nicolas Cage running from like the government or something. I'm assuming that's what
It
it's
is,
about.
and it's amazing.
Yeah.
The thing is, my favourite part about the film wasn't even Nick Cage, it was Pedro Pascal.
Yeah, Pedro Pascal's really good in that.
Have you not seen the clip where he's like, what's your favourite movie? He's like, Paddington 2. And then they sit down and watch Paddington 2. I fucking love that movie.
Yeah, no, I can appreciate that. I think like the most notable like Nicolas Cage, well, it's not really a Nicolas Cage movie, but he's in it, but like Kick-Ass.
Kick-Ass is good.
Kick-Ass
I
is
really like
great.
Kick-Ass.
I don't get why it gets so much like...
Can you believe that the main actor in Kick-Ass is the same guy?
It's Aaron Taylor Johnson.
Yeah.
It's such...
The guy from Bullet Train.
Yeah, like it's such like a Michael Cera role, if that makes sense. Like I don't understand why it's Aaron Taylor Johnson, but
Yeah, and he actually became a superhero after that as well.
yeah, Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent, or as I like to call it, the Nick Cage movie. I think I will give it a go.
You should.
Yeah,
You really
I
should.
definitely will because, like I said, not a massive fan of Nick Cage movies purely because I didn't really grow up or like watch any of them. I was more into just like, well, superhero movies, I guess. But
I mean, that's fair.
Yeah.
I think it's still a really good watch.
yeah, I'll have to give it a go. There's a lot of movies that I hadn't seen last year.
So what's your number 4 then?
My number 4 is Sonic the Hedgehog 2. And I love that film so much.
I respect that a lot.
Fun fact, well, you two already know, but for those watching, I watched this 4 separate times
He
in
brought
the
his
cinema.
plushies. He brought
Yeah,
his
yeah.
plushies.
Alright, so I should probably explain, yeah. So the first time I went with you and Paul, I believe.
Yeah, we all watched it together.
Yeah, we watched it all together for the first time, and that was great. I loved that. And then the second time, as a joke, I went to watch it by myself, but also I brought I don't know, I love that film. It's not even a joke anymore, it's an issue. I took a plushie I have of Knuckles.
There's a video of it as well, didn't you? You like filmed yourself like with the boys.
Yeah, I put it on my story. I was like, they're getting impatient because there's too many ads.
Yeah.
I also brought my girlfriend's plushie of Sonic. So I genuinely had in each of my like armrests just 2 plushies watching.
And
the
I
movie.
will say, just because of how much Alex loves Sonic in this movie, when me and Paul went to London, we got him a Knuckles plushie, but it is the most scuffed looking plushie ever.
I love that plushie.
For some reason, it has purple eyes, and we did get it from just like
Knuckles
a
does
weird...
have purple eyes though.
Does it?
Does
Yeah,
it?
it's canon. He has like purple eyes.
You're canon.
Oh, I let Faith play with that sometimes. She doesn't like.
How could you?
Man, she's gonna destroy it.
No, she won't. She won't. She has it. She loves it. She loves Knuckles. She's just like.
Did I ever pay you back for that?
Yeah, you sent me the money straight away after you got off the phone with P.
That's good.
But yeah, I think Sonic 2 was like a really fun film, and like I think it was better than the first one.
It is. It really is.
Because I loved the parts with like where it was just Sonic, Tails, Knuckles, and Dr. Robotnik. The human scenes,
Oh yeah, that's
specifically the wedding part.
Yeah, right. The human scenes are the weaker scenes, sure, but I still like them. I think they're still like.
still fun. But I'm
Yeah.
there for Sonic, not for that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I think that's the case with like most video game movies because they always have to have like this unnecessary like B plot with completely irrelevant
I
characters.
think it's because studios don't feel confident in video game characters.
Yeah.
Because historically, video game movies have not been successful.
Which is why I'll get to that when we talk about 2023 movies. But I just think that it's really annoying because like it almost makes the filmmakers like not confident in their own work, so they have to add like this boring B plot just to fill in time, where that could be put towards more of like even just Sonic and Tails talking.
I think another issue with that is though it's a budget thing because you cannot
Yeah,
have the
true.
whole movie just be fully CGI unless you're David Cameron or is it David Cameron or is it James Cameron? His name is.
James Cameron.
James Cameron.
Footballer.
Yeah, is he?
Yeah. No, David Cameron's the Prime Minister.
Oh yeah, he was. He's the one who did the the pig thing,
Yeah.
the Black Mirror.
David Cameron is Black Mirror.
Black Mirror. I also want to quickly clear up. I saw that the third time with my girlfriend and
Yeah,
the fourth
okay.
time with my brother-in-law, because I promised I would see it with him.
Not just on your own.
No. I would have seen it for a fifth time on my own though. I do regret not watching it for a fifth time.
So what's your number 3 then?
Oh, my number 3 is Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Yeah, good.
But I'm gonna let Ben talk
Pretty
about
solid.
that because
I could just talk about it now if you like.
No, we'll leave it for yours.
we'll leave it for yours because you can go more in depth.
Okay. Is there any other films?
Was number 2 and 1.
Yeah, so number 1 was Nope, obviously, and we've already discussed that. Number 2, genuinely, it's so tied with Nope for me, but it was the Bowie, or Bowie.
The
depending-
David Bowie, like, was it a biopic or is it like a documentary?
no, it's like a documentary kind of thing.
See, I wanted to go see that, and like I was going to with like, you know how we had like the opportunity to go see it with like
Yeah.
another part of the like college, but I remember you just saying like, oh, I don't want to go there, so like I thought if I was gonna go there, then I'd be going with like the other people on that group, mentioning no names.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So I never bothered, but from the way you talk about it, it seems like a really
Mate, I cannot describe how amazing that film is for me.
You said it was something like some kind of spiritual.
I genuinely sat there and I was in a trance with it. I was genuinely like, holy shit, like this is amazing. It's the first thing I've watched in a while that genuinely brought me joy and made me feel inspired to go out and do something. I was like tempted midway to like walk out the cinema, not because the film was bad, but because I was like, I want to do stuff with my life. I want to like go and paint some art right now because I used to do art and I still love doing art. It's not like art's very subjective, so mine's probably crap to some, but to me I like it. I wanted to go out and like start painting. I wanted to start filming something or whatever. I cannot express how much I love that film, and whilst it's second in 2022 my list for that thing, and Nope is number 1. I cannot express how tied it is, and to be honest, Bowie is probably my second favourite film of all time.
really.
I was going to say,
I can't. It's amazing.
yeah, I was going to ask, like, how much staying power do you think it has?
Like, so there's my top 4 on Letterboxd account. Pros, add me. And then, so it goes A Clockwork Orange, which was the first film to make me be like, oh, this is cinema.
Yeah.
So, I always got to have a special place for that. Third and fourth are like films that can be swapped out, but they're films that I was still like, oh wow, or like mean a lot to me. So it's School of Rock and Scarface.
Yeah, School of Rock is just an S tier film.
School of Rock is it's a perfect film.
Absolutely. One of Jack Black, like probably the best Jack Black film.
It is,
Yeah.
by far. That and Kung
Second
Fu
being
Panda.
Kung Fu Panda. Absolutely.
But then Bowie is like my second one. Like by far it's like my second favorite film because it just meant so much to me and like inspired me so much.
Well, that's what films are meant to do, really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I think I can speak for both of you where I say that films, I like to be affected emotionally by the stuff that I watch, or like even like the games I play. So that's why I have a lot of sentimentality with all these things. And for a film to inspire you so much is such a magical thing to have, that when it leaves like a lasting effect on you, it like resonates, it just
I nearly
makes
cried
things
like
better.
twice in that film.
Yeah.
I was like just sat there like nearly in tears listening to like Major Tom or whatever by him. There's a certain individual though who I'm tempted to name because I hate you for the
I know who you're talking
but
about.
he rated it 2 stars on Letterboxd. I'm like, you are arrogant.
Fuck you,
you
person
think you
who we
know
don't
cinema.
know.
You know nothing of cinema. Go off and copy your crap little. Who directed Trainspotting?
Oh, what's his name?
There's beef.
Danny Boyle.
Danny Boyle. Go copy Danny Boyle. You're a rip-off. You're a fraud. You know nothing.
Chance are they're not going to watch this.
I think that should be the end of my segment.
So, my top 5. I'll get up my letterbox now.
Start from 5.
Sorry.
Start from 5.
Yeah, I'll start from 5. I'm on B-Reel right now. So, number 5. I've kind of changed it around since I first made this list, but number 5 now is The Menu. We've already talked about that, so I won't get on that. Bullet Train is number 4. Number 3, The Banshees of Inisherin.
Such a good film.
Yeah.
I I love how they take a concept that seems like, why would you make a movie about that? And then it becomes so much more than you expect.
I will say, when I initially saw the trailer for it, I was like, this seems really boring. Like, this doesn't seem like a film I would really enjoy in my spare time. Like, I wouldn't see myself revisiting it at all. And after that, I ended up watching it twice. Once with Alex and once with Paul.
You were really hesitant to watch that.
Yeah.
I
You were
honestly,
really
I like dialogue-heavy films if they have an interesting premise, and to me that just didn't seem interesting. But as soon as you guys watched it and said it was incredible, I was sold.
The other reason why is that Paul doesn't like the Irish accent. He's a little bit racist.
Shut up, man. That ain't true.
But the Banshees of Inisherin, I think, is just such... It's oddly wholesome. It's definitely like a black comedy, but it also just has so many emotional beats, and it's such a heartbreaking film. Like, there's just so many scenes in it.
I nearly cried when the donkey died.
Yeah, exactly. Spoilers, by the way. Like, there's the scene where, like, Brendan Gleeson's character is taking Colin Farrell's, like, character just on his little, like, wagon thing. He's, like, taking him home, and then Colin Farrell just starts crying. And Brendan Gleeson doesn't do anything, but he just tells him to get off. And at that point, this is where, like, Brendan Gleeson has told him, if you talk to me again, I will cut my fingers off. So just that whole thing, like, it poses the question as, why is he going to this extreme lengths just to not, like, be friends with this person anymore? It's such a gut-wrenching film. And then, like you said, when the donkey died, not, rest in peace, donkey, but not just, like, from the donkey dying alone, but how, like, the shot was composed and, like, the beautiful landscape of, like, the Irish mountains and stuff. It was just gorgeous.
Every shot of the landscape feels like it could have just been a painting.
Yeah,
It's
I
like,
fully agree.
maybe it's just because of the nature of where they shot it, but it's just really beautiful.
Yeah,
Every frame, when it's a shot of the landscape, is just beautiful.
yeah. And I, like, it's not just, like, an emotional movie, but it's just funny. It's such a hilarious film. There's so many parts where I was just laughing my head off. Like in the part in the pub where they just keep saying the word feckin'. Like, I'm not feckin' your friend anymore, and I'm not your friend. Worst Irish accent ever, by the way.
It was pretty bad, but
Yeah.
I do like how they say feckin' a lot.
It's amazing. And this obviously is set around the time of the Irish Civil War, and the only other time that it's established is when you just hear, like, bombs or, like, gunshots going off in the background. And I think that that's used as, like, symbolism to show this conflict between these two characters, just this sudden conflict. And it's kind of, like, emphasized when characters are like Porrig's sister is, like, walking across the beach to talk to Brendan Gleeson, and she, like, looks over at the shore and she shivers. And I think that's kind of, in my, like, personal interpretation, I think that was kind of used as, like, like, symbolism as these two characters as conflict, and how they both were, like, great friends, and then he just suddenly decided, right, I'm not going to be friends with you anymore. And those actions, it starts off as so calming and so, like, wholesome and aesthetically pleasing, and then it just, like, goes 0 to 100 really quickly, particularly when Colin Farrell straight up just burns Brendan Gleeson's house down. And
I was very worried for the dog in that scene.
same. Honestly, if the dog had died, I probably would have ranked it lower because I would have been so upset out of, like, personal bias.
Can't handle dogs dying.
But the final shot in the movie where, like, Brendan Gleeson is just, like, mumbling his own, like, lyrics to himself, I just think that, like, they're not friends to, like, they're still not friends of each other anymore, but they still have that connection of all they've been through. And, like, Brendan Gleeson has finally just, like, realized that even though he's getting older, he doesn't need to cut out the people who love him to pursue his own happiness. And just because of that, I think it was such an emotional, empowering story. And it's like Alex said about the Bowie film, one of my favorites of all time. I will say that there and then. Number 2 was Nope. Obviously, we've talked about that a lot. Fucking great film. But number one, we've saved this for me to talk about. Everything Everywhere All at Once. This was my most anticipated movie of 2022, and it delivered so hard. Obviously, it was A24, so it was like a great film to look at. All the shots were like perfect. There was so many like funny camera techniques. Every single like actor stood out in their own way. My favorite being what's her name? She was in Knives Out. Jamie Lee Curtis. Yeah, she was hilarious in it. And it's also, like The Banshees of Inisherin, like, whilst it has its hilarious moments, it's also really emotional. And we're back. Sorry about that. We had a technical issue, so we're going to have to cut this short. But overall, Everything Everywhere All at Once. My review for it on Letterboxd was an emotional story about a time-space warping bagel and homophobic grandparents. That's another thing that was in the movie.
Pretty true.
I don't necessarily think it was homophobia. I just put that like for a comedic value, but it was more just
good representation. 'Cause
Yeah.
it shows how there's like age difference and people being still very funny about it all.
yeah, especially with like the older generation.
A lot of films like to just pretend like older generations are just going to be completely okay with it, which
Yeah.
you know, while is a good thing, you'd want someone to be okay with it, but unfortunately,
That's not
you can't
always the
guarantee
case.
that.
Yeah, and I think that's where Everything Everywhere kind of excels, because it isn't afraid to show like, oh, this, like, her grandpa is not okay with her being like gay, but he still loves her, obviously. And then around the part, like the final part of the film, where it all just like boils down to like the final act of it, he accepts it. And I think that's really heartwarming. Plus, the butt plug fight is hilarious.
Fucking hell.
So that's going to have to do it for the Par Media podcast. I'm really sorry, but we had to cut this short due to technical issues. If you guys liked this and you want us to do it, we'd be more than willing to create a second part to this film, because there is a lot more stuff that we were going to talk about, but we couldn't because stupid cameras from college. Is there any final things you want to say?
Be sure to check out our Instagram at Par Media, where we upload clips, posters, behind the scenes shots, all that sort of shit.
Subscribe to our personal channels as well. I'll be making a video about the best and worst video games of 2022. Alex?
You're a bitch.
Oh.
You heard it here first on the Par Media podcast. So yeah, that's us signing off now. Really hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching. This took a lot of effort to put together. Peace.
How big's your winky?